Welcome to Rail Park Reviews, the series where we visit rail parks across the United States to give rail fans a detailed tour and review of some of the most famous places to watch trains across the country. In this episode, we visit the Iron Triangle Rail Park in Fostoria, Ohio. I'll give you a detailed tour of the park and provide you with all the important information rail fans need to know before visiting the park, like how many trains pass through here each day, what camera angles can rail fans get at the park, what kind of amenities does the rail park offer. Plus, I'll give you my list of favorite and least favorite things about the Iron Triangle Rail Park. This episode of Rail Park Reviews covers all of this, plus much more. Located in northern Ohio, about 40 miles south of Toledo, the city of Fostoria is home to one of the best rail parks in the Midwest. Opened in 2013, the Iron Triangle Rail Park provides rail fans with a 360-degree view of the action on all three of the rail lines that intersect here in Fostoria. Open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and maintained by the Fostoria Rail Preservation Society, the 5.6-acre rail park provides visitors with non-stop access to one of the best places to watch trains in Ohio. The three rail lines intersecting in Fostoria form what is known as the Iron Triangle. All three rail lines are double-track at this location in Fostoria. There are two CSX lines and one Norfolk Southern line. The busiest line is CSX's Willard Subdivision. This is the same east-west main line that runs through Deshler, which is located just 30 miles west of Fostoria. The north-south CSX line runs between Toledo and Columbus. The part of the line south of Fostoria is referred to as the Columbus Subdivision, and the part of the line north of Fostoria is known as the Pemberville Subdivision. The Norfolk Southern line is part of NS's Fostoria District, which runs east-west between Bellevue, Ohio, and Fort Wayne, Indiana. Since I grew up in Perrysburg, Ohio, just south of Toledo, I've been to Fostoria to watch trains more times than I can remember, including before there was a rail park here. This is definitely one of my favorite places to watch trains. So, without further ado, let me take you on a quick tour of the park. Alright, so we just arrived at the Iron Triangle Rail Park here in Fostoria, so we're going to take a little walk around. So, they just recently added the virtual rail fan cameras to this park, so I figured this is a perfect time to come and do a rail park review. Now, I've been to Fostoria more times than I can count. As a matter of fact, I used to come here back when this was not a rail park, but it's really nice that they have this now. So I'll show you this little shaded area over here by the Norfolk Southern line. They've got plenty of places to sit right along here. And then they have these tables, which are nice if you want to set down some food or a drink, or if you have camera equipment or stuff like that. And looks like they have lights here. So this is a nice little structure. They have this cool vending machine that has multiple sections in it, although this part looks maybe empty, or no, there's some stuff in there maybe, can't tell. And then they have a lot of information over here, like brochures for the Fostoria Rail Preservation Society. They have these Ohio rail maps, stuff like that. And it looks like here it says the caboose is open to the public Saturdays 11 to 1, May 1st to August 28th. So that's cool. Looks like they actually let you go inside the caboose some. So that's new. That was not here last summer. So we'll go take a look at the caboose over here quick. a little bit windy today, but it's also going to be about 90 degrees, so I'm glad that there's some wind. So now if you look over here, this is the junction for the two CSX lines. And then over here is the Norfolk Southern line. But we'll walk up to the caboose here. Now they had this caboose here for quite a while without this ramp structure. So originally they just had the caboose here for quite a little while. But now they have this structure that kind of allows you to go right up to it. And so you can walk over and kind of look through the windows. I don't know if you can see through there very well. The windows are kind of grubby, but again, there's the sign saying the caboose is open on the Saturdays. So that's cool. I'll have to come check that out sometime when it's open. But it's just an old Baltimore and Ohio caboose. So this is actually a pretty good view of the NS line from up here. And it looks like there's some maintenance of way equipment coming through on the Norfolk Southern line. They have bike racks here, so that's really cool. You can bring your bike and tie it up for the day if you want. They also have a really nice paved parking lot with plenty of spaces, and it looks like the parking lot is lit when it's dark. And they have a nice little turnaround area over here. And way over there they have longer spaces for RVs and campers. So we'll go over and check that out a little later. We'll kind of go walk to the other side of the caboose here. It's kind of weird to see a caboose where the bottom part of it is not visible like this, but here's another window that you can look in. Again, I don't know if you can see much in there with the reflection, but they have a bench here, which is nice. And same thing as the other side, you can kind of take a look through the window and look into the caboose just a bit. And looks like they have some other old railroad equipment over here. So definitely a really neat place. This whole open area is nice for if you just want to, like if you have kids and they just want to run around or throw a frisbee or something like that. Plenty of open grassy area. Alright, walking back down the ramp here. So the ramp is nice because it's handicap accessible. This whole structure is mostly just built out of wood, so it's a very nice structure that they created for the caboose here. So this building here has restrooms in it, and the restrooms are pretty nice, especially for a rail park. They also have a water fountain there, and on the side of the building over here looks like they have some more information. Looks like this is the Ohio rail map. So like I said, they have those Ohio rail maps for free, so you can take those. On the one side of the rail map, it just kind of has the major cities of Ohio, and then the other side is just the whole state. So they have that. Looks like they have a road map, and then just other information. Like here, they have info about Fostoria Rail Festival, September 25th, 2021. So yeah, just lots of different information here that rail fans can look at. And then over here, they have some more information about the history of Fostoria. And they have a nice picnic table that you can sit at. Let's go walk over this way a little bit. I don't know if these are lights or not, but if these are lights, that's really neat. They actually have a lit sidewalk for when it's dark. That's pretty cool. They have this gate here at the end of the park. Let me see if I can do this with one hand here. Whoop, goes the other way. So the gate's not locked or anything, but you can open that when you go in and out of the park. I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of having a gate like that is, but... So here is the Norfolk Southern line. So we'll cross that quick and I'll show you what that looks like each way down the tracks. So that's looking toward the park that way. And then down there, we'll zoom in a little bit, they have a little yard down there. And then this is where the Norfolk Southern line crosses the north-south CSX line. Back before they had a rail park here, you know, when I was growing up in the 90s and 2000s, we used to come over here, and this was kind of a place you could stand and watch trains at the Diamond here, right out by the road. So this whole area over in here, the whole Iron Triangle area, used to not be accessible before this rail park. So it's really nice that they have that all cleared out for rail fans now. But yeah, I remember we used to come and just, this road right here was one of the places that you could sit and watch trains. The other one, which I'll take you to a little later, is there's an old Amtrak station down on the east-west CSX line where we used to watch trains sometimes, so I'll show you that a little later. But it's really nice that they have this area cleared out now for the rail park. We used to always say it would be a perfect place for a rail park, and so we were super excited when we found out they were actually building a rail park here. These tables are kind of weird because if you want to eat at these tables, I guess you just have to stand and eat at the tables. It's almost like a cocktail table or something like that. So I guess you have to stand and eat. But they do also have outlets here. So if you want to charge your phone, or if you have camera equipment or something like that that you want to charge, you can do that. So, but yeah, these tables kind of made me laugh because I guess you either just use them to set stuff on, or you have to stand if you're eating at the tables. It's kind of funny. Like I said, it made me laugh. They're a little weird. It was finally time for our first train of the day. We decided to head just outside the park to the Poplar Street grade crossing to get a better view of the eastbound train. I really like this angle because you can see the trains coming right at you. If you're familiar with the Railstream webcam, this is basically one of the views you can see when watching the west-facing camera. Alright, so while we're down here at the crossing, let me kind of show you what it's like at the entrance of the park here. So, looking down there toward the junction of the two CSX lines, If I zoom way in, you can probably see the end of the train that just went by. And so down there, there's an old Amtrak station, which is not used anymore. And if I zoom in there, you can see that's where the Norfolk Southern line crosses the east-west CSX line. So this is the entrance to the rail park, at least if you're driving in. So they have a nice sign out front here that says City of Fostoria Iron Triangle Visitor Center and Viewing Area. So there's a long road leading over to the main part of the rail park, which is way over there. But before we head back in there, I want to walk over here to the Norfolk Southern line just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like to look down the tracks from this place over here. Alright, so the rail park is down there, and the diamond with the CSX east-west line is right down there. Less than 15 minutes later, a westbound CSX train appeared in the distance. Like the last train, we decided to record it at the Poplar Street grade crossing. Alright, so before we head back into the park, one thing I forgot to mention earlier is they do have the rail stream cameras right here. Now, I believe that these are cameras that anyone can view for free on the Railstream website. They have been free on YouTube before, although I don't believe they're on YouTube, at least right now as I'm making this video. But that gives you another angle of the iron triangle, and those cams look right down the tracks toward the Norfolk Southern diamond down there. So just a different perspective. So now we have Railstream cameras and virtual railfan cams here at the park, which is really cool. So as I'm walking back into the park here, one of the things I wonder is whether they're ever going to do anything with all this space over here. You can see where the building used to be that was part of this junkyard here that they got rid of. I don't know whether they own the property inside the fence there, but they do have a lot more space that they could work with if they ever wanted to expand the rail park or do anything else with it. So I don't know. If you know who owns this property in here, if it's the rail park or if it's owned by someone else, let me know in the comments below. It'd be interesting if they could use the space for something. Sounds like we have another eastbound CSX coming, so we'll have to check that out as we're walking back. Alright, we'll continue our walk back to the rail park here, at least the main part of the rail park. The one thing that is a little unique about this rail park is if you want to come over by the CSX line, it is a little bit of a walk away from the main pavilion area over by the Norfolk Southern line. I mean, it's not too long, it's just you kind of have to come over to the fence here, so it's a little bit of a ways away. They have a little pull-in turnaround area right here. So this whole area back by the diamond is not accessible for rail fans. That's just all owned by CSX, so they just have a bunch of equipment back in there and an old tower. Like I said before, there's just a lot of wide open space here. It makes it nice if you have a dog and you want to let your dog run around, or even if you have kids and they want to throw a frisbee or throw a football or baseball or run around or something like that. There's lots of open space to be able to do that kind of stuff, which is really nice. We're gonna go take a look at the RV camper spaces over here. So these parking spaces are nice and long, so you can fit any kind of a longer vehicle or vehicle with a trailer in here. They also have lighting here, which is nice. Now the one thing that I don't see is I don't see any electric outlets for you to be able to hook up an RV or a camper or anything like that if you need power. Let me check this light pole here. I don't see anything like that, so I guess the one slight disadvantage is if you did need electricity at your RV or camper, they don't have that right here. But it is nice that they at least have the parking spaces for bigger vehicles like that. So from over here by the RV area, you can actually look straight down the Norfolk Southern line, which is pretty cool. So if I put my camera right up here on this fence, see if we can zoom in, you get a nice view right down the Norfolk Southern line, which is pretty cool. Yeah, overall I would say if you don't have a scanner, or like we're using ATCS Monitor, if you don't have something like that to know when a train is coming, it could be a little bit difficult to set up a camera, because if you're over by the Norfolk Southern and all of a sudden a train comes on the CSX, you might not have a lot of time to run over there and set up. But ATCS Monitor does have the NS Fostoria district, so you can use that. And of course, if you have a scanner, you can know when things are coming. But aside from that, you wouldn't have a lot of time to run back and forth between the tracks if you wanted to set up a camera shot. Alright, sounds like we've got a CSX coming on the north-south line, so I'm going to head up on this caboose platform to see what kind of a shot I can get from up here. This train is clear to go west, so it'll be fun to follow it all the way around the curve here. Alright, so we're going to take the camera off the tripod here and follow this train around the curve. Alright, well, for the end of the train I decided to come out here into the grassy area just to kind of give you an idea of this big space out here where you can see all the way around the curve. You can see it crossing the Norfolk Southern line. I noticed over on this side of the pavilion they have this local map that has a bunch of different options for restaurants in the area. So if you're here and you're looking for a place to eat, this map here has all the different places you can eat in town, which is pretty neat. They also have a scanner running up here in the shelter. I don't know if you can see it up there, but they have the scanner, which is also helpful. Alright, let's discuss my favorite and least favorite things about the Iron Triangle Rail Park. We'll start with my 5 favorite things about the park. First, this park has some really nice amenities for rail fans. It's nice to have permanent restrooms on site, along with a covered shelter and a paved parking lot that even has extra long spaces for RVs and buses. Second, Fostoria is only 45 minutes from Deshler, which is another one of my favorite places to watch trains. If you're traveling from far away, I highly recommend that you spend time in both Deshler and Fostoria. I also made a rail park review video for Crossroads Park in Deshler, so if you haven't watched that yet, make sure you check it out. Third, Fostoria has plenty of train traffic. While there are certainly quiet times during the day, the 3 rail lines work together to keep the Iron Triangle relatively busy. It's not uncommon to see lots of trains here in a short period of time. Fourth, Fostoria has plenty of restaurants downtown just a few minutes from the rail park. There are both chain and local restaurants available, so there should be something for everyone's tastes. If you need a hotel, it looks like there's also a Best Western in town. Finally, the B&O caboose adds a nice touch to the park. And if you happen to be at the park on a Saturday in the summer, you can even go inside the caboose from 11 to 1. Alright, now let's talk about my least favorite things about the Iron Triangle Rail Park. Now, I'm going to give you the same disclaimer I give in all of my rail park review videos. Just because I'm giving a couple negatives doesn't mean I don't like this rail park. That couldn't be farther from the truth. I really love this place, and it's one of my favorite locations in Ohio to watch trains. My goal here is to simply provide viewers with a thorough review of the rail park, which means I do need to discuss a couple issues that come to mind. With that being said, here are my 2 least favorite things about the Iron Triangle Rail Park. First, on hot summer days, it can be a bit uncomfortable if you leave the covered shelter, which is pretty much the only shady spot in the whole park. On the day we visited, it was about 90 degrees, and when you leave the shade to go walk around the park, it definitely gets hot when the sun is out. It would be nice if they could plant some trees in the open area of the park. It might obstruct the view of trains a little, but it could also provide some much needed shade. The other main disadvantage I can think of is they built the covered shelter next to the Norfolk Southern line, which definitely doesn't see as much traffic as the CSX Willard Subdivision. There's not really a great spot to sit in the shade and watch trains on the CSX Willard Subdivision up close. You either have to stand by the fence over by the road or leave the park entirely. It would be nice if they could build some sort of shelter or pavilion over by the CSX Willard Subdivision. And by the way, if they do build another shelter, they should definitely add some actual picnic tables that you can sit and eat at, instead of those really high tables they put in the other shelter. Despite these minor negatives, I really enjoy spending time at the Fostoria Iron Triangle Rail Park. If you haven't been to Fostoria, I highly recommend you visit sometime in the future. Maybe I'll even see you at the park. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Did I miss any important information? Do you have plans to visit the Iron Triangle in the future? Also, if there's a rail park you'd like me to review, let me know in the comments below. My goal is to visit as many rail parks as realistically possible. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy rail fanning.